Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. And in today's video, I wanted to discuss this article by the Motley Fool. And they make some really great points. So the title says 3 reasons T-Mobile will outpace the competition in 2021. So they make great points that I completely agree with. So one of the points was a return. What does a return to a normal switching environment look like? And of course, that clearly favors T-Mobile. The perception in the market, T-Mobile has the value, they have the better pricing, they have better deals. Verizon and AT&T by perception are still considered to be more expensive, more premium to most average consumers, and even small businesses are likely to choose T-Mobile. So that's a fact. T-Mobile is going to continue growing in that regard through 21, 22, 23. I don't see that changing. There is a possibility that AT&T does become value leader in the future, but that remains to be seen, and it is not a fact. But AT&T could position themselves in that way because they are the best positioned in terms of assets. But for now, in how T-Mobile operates and free lines and cheaper lines and better deals, it seems that they have that perception to continue growing in a normal switching environment versus its competition in Verizon and AT&T. We have yet to have any clear indications of how Dish is going to fit in with that as the fourth player. So that will remain to be seen. But they could very easily become a new uncarrier or lowered valued postpaid player when they do enter the market aggressively. So the next point that they make is there's still room to improve Sprint subscriber retention. 100% agree, and they just recently increased that by tenfolds by giving Sprint customers, taxes and fees included, up mobile hotspot, and incorporated other features. If you have not seen that video, I will leave that in the description down below. This just recently happened, and of course that's going to keep the churn of Sprints lower. Now and it's not on all plans, of course, but it is going to help T-Mobile engage in that relationship with the Sprint customer. So when it is that time to migrate them 100% officially after the 3 years or however long they have, that customer now is more likely and will be more engaged with T-Mobile because they've been treated well throughout this process. So on the last 2 quarterly earnings, T-Mobile has stated they've been able to keep the churn lower on the Sprint side by one of the features is the TNX SIM, the T-Mobile network experience. Once you give that Sprint customer that T-Mobile SIM, they are 8 times out of 10 likely to have a better experience, larger network, better speeds. Of course, that can, in some areas where Sprint was the dominant carrier or stronger in speeds, that could be different. But on a nationwide scale, if we're talking coverage, square miles covered, T-Mobile is likely to be the better choice. So that in itself is a feature. And then, of course, adding taxes and fees and upping the mobile hotspot. So that's definitely going to help that Sprint customer think twice if he does want to leave. And of course, especially on the Sprint plan, they likely already had a cheaper pricing to begin with. So that, of course, is those 200% agreed. Now the next one, and T-Mobile is clearly a marketing machine on this, and they're pushing this, continued leadership in 5G. That is happening now. N71 started in late 2016, 2017. They've been adding that. N41 now has started with the Sprint merger being approved in April. So they're pushing that. They're going to materialize. They're going to scale. So speeds are going to increase. we're going to see a retrofitted T-Mobile network by the end of 2021. Not only on speed, but baseband units, newer panels, radios. The network is going to be flawless. But here's a couple of objections. One, T-Mobile is not, they're not going to just run away with this. That is not going to happen. There is a potential that the C-band auction closes today. Once it officially closes, that means whatever bidding was acquired by the carrier, they now officially own. So if that's 100, 120, 140, 160 megahertz for Verizon, they now have that spectrum. And the same goes for AT&T, and the same goes for T-Mobile if they did bid for 20, 40, 50, 60 megahertz, whatever they got. How does that change the wireless landscape? So when T-Mobile acquired Sprint and they got all that 2.5, band 25, additional mid-band, that immediately changed the wireless landscape because the competition had no other spectrum to offset and compete against that. But now that Verizon has, or is going to, I should say, once it closes, access to that spectrum, it's going to change the wireless landscape forever. It's going to change dramatically because they can now compete with clean spectrum, with a denser network grid versus T-Mobile, and that's a fact. Yes, T-Mobile is dense. Don't get me wrong, they've built their network on mid-band. But the only way that Verizon has been able to keep their network above water and running to somewhat at normal levels has been with densification. They have densified since 2016, 2017 at levels never seen before. That's macros, mini macros, small cells, outdoor DAS, indoor DAS, small cells. They've done it. They have been going at it because they had no choice. They were not able to just go to the cell site and add 10, 20, 30 megahertz of spectrum. They were very quickly tapped out. Verizon has had the largest subscriber base in the industry for a long time now. So they had no choice but to densify beyond what any other carrier was doing. And it's not, in a lot of markets I'm hearing, it's not even close anymore. AT&T is last in that regard. T-Mobile is second. But Verizon has taken the lead by a long shot. So what happens when you start adding 100, 120, 140, 160 megahertz of clean spectrum onto that grid? That's going to be, and they're adding their own fiber too, so they don't have to negotiate with anyone. Hey, what's it going to cost me to go to 2, 5, 10 gig backhaul circuits? They don't have to do it. Once they pay the cost to implement that fiber, that's it. That's done. They play with that fiber however they want. They could push it to 5, 10, 8, 20 gigs, whatever they want to do. So don't be surprised if Verizon comes with their ducks in the row and they come firing on all cylinders. Do not be surprised. And don't forget they have the larger network still. So they're going to compete. They are going to compete, and I like it. And I really like it. T-Mobile's going to compete with 2.5, and they're going to push that to its limits. Verizon's going to come in hot. They're going to compete. AT&T is going to get in on some of that action as well, although they have a lot more work to do. C-RAN is their number one mission right now. They're going to implement some macros, but they are going all in on C-RAN. So let me know what you think about these 3 points. I think the first two are very clear. That's not changing. But the continued 5G leadership, that's going to be tough. Because Verizon is coming, and like I said, I was giving you guys previews. I'm hearing that capital investments are increasing for both AT&T and Verizon starting this year, and we should have all guidance for the year are coming on everyone's Q4 earnings. That's Verizon's, AT&T, and T-Mobile's. So make sure you stay tuned to the channel for that. There will be, of course, coverage of the quarterly earnings. Verizon's is on the 26th of January. I'm still waiting on checking on AT&T and waiting on T-Mobile's. So let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below. Look forward to reading those comments. If you have been on the channel or you are new to the channel and you have not yet liked, shared, subscribed, make sure you do so. Follow all of the social media outlets for more updates and interactions. This is Tyrone with Tech Life, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.